Person one loves person two. Guess what? Shenanigans ensue. Person one hates person two. Guess what? Still shenanigans ensue. Person one fake dates person two. Guess what? You guessed it. Shenanigans ensue. Co-host one reports to co-host two. The name of the show? Shenanigans ensue. Yeah. Hello, I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Jane, and welcome to Shenanigans Ensue,
A podcast where it's just a party.
and hell is just a sauna. Each episode we'll watch a rom-com and discuss its merits as a member of the rom-com genre.
We'll cover well-worn classics, hidden gems, and everything in between.
We'll give you our unsolicited opinion on every trope, caper, and flim-flam the film used, or maybe abused.
And of course, the
Shenanigans!
We love a gliss.
Yes, we have to, sometimes.
Let's go.
When appropriate.
And this time it is extraordinarily appropriate because we're doing the incredible, the beloved, the classic
10 Things I Hate About You, which many of you absolutely love because you voted that we cover this movie for our listeners' choice.
That's right. You voted and we're delivering.
Yeah, 40 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
I forgot that that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at. 40.
Yay.
The age will be.
We're doing it.
Sooner than I feel comfortable with.
Why'd you bring it there?
I know, I'm sorry. I went to a dark place very quickly. Snapping out of it.
I'm not even at the midway point yet. Okay.
I know. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's move on. Let's cover this wonderful movie.
Okay, well, I don't have existential dread with how incredible this film is, and it still hits. It
is so much fun. What a caper. What a romp.
Seriously.
Truly.
And of course, in case anyone didn't know, this is a modern adaptation of Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew.
Yes. So this movie is very interesting in that it's a really good adaptation of one of my least favorite Shakespearean plays.
It's so hard to like this play.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to Anyone But You, which was a terrible adaptation of one of my favorite plays.
Correct.
So
that really about sums it up, everybody.
Yep.
We're both theater people, so we're pretty familiar with a lot of the Bard's work. Taming of the Shrew is
yikes.
the ridiculous, misogynistic tale of essentially...
Kidnap?
It's in the title, y'all.
Yeah.
He literally, quote, tames this woman, and the means with which he does are in line with the time period, and it's not respectful in any sense of the word.
That is being so polite for you, especially.
Well, I don't know why I'm bothering to be polite. Because I have a deep respect for the work of William Shakespeare, so I'm trying. He doesn't care, he's dead. I don't know why I'm being polite.
And the quote taming of the quote shrew is as terrible as you would expect, and also arguably even more egregious is the fact that it's played as romantic.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Kat in the play is by the end treated as if she were now a broken filly and is better for it. It's not great. But 10 Things I Hate About You manages to do this incredible thing that turns it into an actual romance.
This movie is done so well. And I think one of the reasons for it too is that it's a woman duo writing team who are also responsible for Legally Blonde and another favorite of the pod, She's the man.
What?
Yes.
Oh my god. How did I not know this? Thank you for doing the research.
I was curious as to like the tenderness of the way that Heath Ledger is constantly stroking Kat's hair.
Aw.
And it feels very like of the female gaze. So I was looking at the director, but it's directed by a man. And then I looked at the writers, and that's how I went down, you know, the rabbit hole.
Aw. I feel like that's clear in the way that it slowly develops, in the way that Patrick tends to Kat at the party.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yes.
So, everybody, we've told you a lot about the source material. We've told you a lot already about the film, but let's give you that plot synopsis.
Let's do it.
Cameron wants to date Bianca.
Bianca can only date if her sister Katarina dates.
Joey also wants to date Bianca.
So Cam convinces Joe to pay Pat to date Kat.
Shenanigans ensue.
Yay! Yes, they do.
It's so fun. And you know me, which if you've listened to episodes already, you probably know me pretty well by now. I would, in theory, not be able to back this relationship because he's taking money at the start.
Yeah.
How do you come back from that?
Yeah.
But...
This movie manages to do that.
Correct. Thank you.
Very easily. You could really hate this couple.
Yeah.
And wonder how they're going to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But they navigate it in such a respectful, realistic way that's true to the characters that they are one of the couples where we said there's a way that they can make it work. They're going the distance.
They are. Okay, listen. So Kat decides that she's going to go to Sarah Lawrence. Dad pays the down payment on tuition, so she's going. I mean, I have a lot of things to say about that, but I'll leave that for later. But that means that Patrick, who very clearly has NYU vibes,
100%.
should probably go there, and then they're just a 30-minute Metro North ride away from each other. I think it's doable.
They can make it work.
They can. 4 years of a 30-minute Metro North ride, that's nothing. Easy.
Done. We've solved it.
It's perfect. I know no one discussed where Pat's going to school, but
No.
I'm telling you, he's going to NYU.
Of course he is. He's giving such NYU energy.
Yeah, he's giving I really don't care, and I know you want me.
Yeah.
So, which is what it takes to get into NYU. Or money.
Which we also know he has.
Correct. It's a double whammy. See, he's going to NYU.
Sorted.
And their relationship, it slowly evolves. I
Mhm.
found it so fascinating to watch not only a slow burn, but a slow burn that doesn't start with any sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
Have we watched another film where zero sexual chemistry at the beginning and then full-blown relationship at the end actually works?
I don't think Enchanted has that much sexual chemistry right at the top because he thinks she's unwell.
Yeah, and we decided that that one was a slow burn for the purposes of the film, but it was only like 3 days.
Not in reality. That was a strange slow burn.
Yeah.
With this slow burn that is also kind of enemies to lovers, like it's an interesting entanglement between those two tropes, but it really works given who these people are.
Yeah, to have an enemies to lovers and to convince me that they're good together at the end. Most of the time, it requires such tremendous sexual chemistry at the onset. But this one didn't need it.
No.
It's a beautiful romance.
I think what helps with navigating the enemies to lovers not having sexual tension at the start is because it's a slow burn, but it's also a stop and start. Because of who Kat is. She is very weary of letting people in, and a couple of times she cuts Patrick off completely when she tries to make a move on him in the car, and he doesn't think it's a good idea, so she feels hurt and rejected. That sets the relationship back, and that happens a couple of times.
Yeah.
So we really see how their intimacy builds, which is really beautiful to watch it unfold like that.
Yeah. Since we've already started talking about them a little bit, I might as well hit those tropes for y'all.
Oh,
'Cause
right.
I want to get into
You've
it.
covered two already.
I know. I'm already just like so excited. Okay, so as we discussed, enemies to lovers, a slow burn. We've also got messy love lives of high school students.
So messy.
Teachers doing
The most.
The most.
Oh my goodness, these teachers.
And if the teachers weren't doing enough, we also have music doing the most. Insane. We've also got montages. We've got some excellent best friends.
Yes. Refreshing after Drive Me Crazy.
And what a clear redemption for Susan May Pratt, who played the fake best friend in literally the movie we just did.
Yes.
And then accidentally, here we are with her again as an excellent best friend.
It was so refreshing and really good acting because it took me until you pointed it out to recognize her.
Oh my gosh. You know, that makes perfect sense. This was her best friend in a rom-com year because both of them take place in 1999.
Ah, there we go.
Love that for her. Slay girl.
Work.
And then finally, we have not one, but two grand romantic gestures.
Amazing. Both of them so wonderful and specific and just excellently executed.
So easily the grand romantic gesture can be cringe, and these are just delightful.
So lovely.
I just want to talk about that first, because it's filling me with warm fuzzies.
Yes, that's where I want to start.
Okay.
I'm itching to start with grand romantic gestures.
So good.
It's done so well.
I can't. Him starting an a cappella version of Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, and then incorporating the marching band, and then doing a corny vaudevillian number. He's serving Fred Astaire on the bleachers of the football field.
And then including an escape from school security trying to evacuate him off the bleachers.
So good.
And somehow including choreo with that as well. It was so good.
And the most important part about all of that is, God, Heath Ledger was such an incredible actor because even in this film, early in his career, he understood that taking yourself too seriously can be the kiss of death for a scene.
Yeah.
He played with it. He was being a goofball. And because we're all on the same page and he wasn't trying to be cool, it made the whole thing more charming.
I'm literally getting chills because of how difficult it is to walk that line with it. It requires a certain amount of sincerity, but also self-awareness. You also can't be holding back with that kind of performance.
You have to have confidence levels off the charts.
Yes, exactly. You know, it's really giving Ryan Gosling performing I'm Just Ken at the Oscars.
Balls of steel.
Just so masterful and leaning into the camp, but without trying to be cool. It could easily be so hokey.
Oh, I love campiness.
Me too. I don't know why it's looked down on so much, because it requires a lot more finesse than you would think. It's not just about being over the top and like, look at me.
No.
There's a lot of skill involved in camp.
Campiness, it necessitates earnestness, genuine feelings, and everybody being on the same page.
Yeah.
It's an agreement to do something dumb together just for the fun and love of it.
Yes, you have to commit to the bit. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can see when someone's holding back.
That's when it turns cringe.
Yes, that's when it becomes cringe. How quickly could this grand romantic gesture
if
have
he thought
been...
he was actually being cool. For example, when Travis Cleese, or whatever the hell his name is, decided to sing Viva Las Vegas after winning the Super Bowl, every single person in America cringed because he was trying to do it because he thinks he's cool, not because he was having a goof.
I didn't see that.
It's bad.
I'll have to look it up.
Oh, you don't watch it. You won't like it.
But I need to understand the feeling that you are experiencing right now. I need to share in the misery.
I'm telling you, I can hold the feeling for both of us. I don't need to put you through this.
Okay.
Now, if he had done it with like a hokey little dance, we all would have had a laugh with him instead of at him, and that's where it becomes messy.
But Heath Ledger, hats off. The second grand romantic gesture is a quiet, private, inside thing between the two of them.
Yeah.
Earlier in the movie, Patrick comes across Kat playing a guitar, and it's come out at the dance that Patrick was paid by Joey to take her out. And so what he does is he uses the money that Joey paid him to buy her that guitar, and he puts it in her car.
It's literally
It's
so
so
sweet. She
sweet.
walks to her car after he was a total ass.
Mm-hmm.
And he proves that it was never about the money because he spent all the money he got on the baby blue electric guitar she was playing in the shop.
I know.
Ugh. And she's so moved by it.
Yes.
It shows that he was paying attention.
People trying to court women, this is what's romantic.
Yeah.
Like just paying attention to the person you're trying to court. It's so attractive.
Mm-hmm. It was so nice. Ugh.
Like that wasn't about the expense. It was about the fact that he used the money that he got, which was the issue, as part of the apology, and he'd paid such close attention to her.
And the line is so cute. She is mouth agape and sees him, and he's like, well, you know, I just had some extra money laying around because an idiot paid me to date this really great woman. So good.
Yes. And then I like the banter after that when she's like, wait a minute, don't think you can buy me off with a guitar every time we get into a fight.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I won't do that. There's always drums and a piano.
And bass.
But I was also like, good for you, Kat. Don't set this precedent.
I mean, you can set that precedent with me. If you guys want to buy me things, it's to apologize. I'm fine with that. I may or may not accept the apology, but I will accept the gift.
You'll accept the goods.
This is not a binding contract. Thank you.
The acceptance of these goods is not contingent on an acceptance of apology.
I want to talk about all the people and things in this film doing the most.
Goodness.
Right off the top,
The teachers.
is Miss Perky the principal?
She's writing smut.
I thought she was the guidance counselor.
She's the guidance counselor, yeah.
Why does everyone get sent to Miss Perky? This is not the principal.
I don't know.
And why is she writing full-on romance novels in her office? This is the workplace, madam.
It's so funny. And then using everyone who comes into her office as a thesaurus, essentially.
As Kat walks in,
Like-
she's like asking for synonyms for engorged. Like, for
Mhm.
God's sake, these are children.
And what did she use from Patrick? Was it like...
Oh my gosh, the bratwurst. Yeah.
She's so funny.
It's so good. And all of the teachers, like, I love the teacher back in the classroom.
The English teacher?
Yes,
Oh,
Kat's English teacher
he's phenomenal.
is so funny. Kat's English teacher does a back and forth because she is such a disruption in class.
Mm-hmm.
And he really kind of gives her the business. And it's hilarious because she's really taking him down about Hemingway and it being a bad choice and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, first off, girl, I get it. I hate Hemingway also. But this is your teacher. And then the teacher dishes back at her some nonsense about, like, how hard it must be to be a wealthy white woman.
Yes.
As a black teacher. I'm here for this. Please shut her the fuck down.
Oh my goodness.
You gotta learn.
Oh, that was so funny. That teacher did not give a shit about any of his students' attitude.
Nope.
He was not taking it from any of them.
That's the attitude you need to have, though, in high schools in America. These kids are off the
It
rails.
was so funny. And even at the end of the movie, when he gives the assignment of everyone having to write a sonnet, and Kat is like, that's a great idea.
He's like, are you laughing at me? Are you
Yes.
having a joke?
He sends it to the guidance counselor again, or like just tells her to get out.
I was telling Jane that Kat has resting bitch tone.
Everything she says sounds sarcastic.
And it's so funny because he literally says to her, oh, you're laughing at me. And she says, no.
I think it's a great assignment.
And he sends her off to Miss Perky because poor girl only has resting bitch tone. She can't even deliver sincere lines without sarcasm.
Everything just feels sarcastic.
All the time.
It's so funny, and it's such a good payoff because we are seeing them come up against each other the entire movie, so it absolutely makes
Yeah.
that he won't take a compliment as being sincere.
Because, listen, she made her bed. The teacher is literally going off of previous knowledge, so...
Yeah. The teachers are so nuts in this movie. It's great.
And even the dad is too much.
Which is why it works. The dad needs to be over the top and hilarious for it to work.
Oh, yeah. These films have two types of dads. There's hot dad and bumbling dad, and this film required a bumbling dad.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise the premise immediately falls apart.
Yeah.
It's such an insane thing to say that your younger daughter can't date until the older daughter does. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order for that to work, him being a gynecologist that delivers babies, who's worried about teen pregnancy, who then puts the kibosh on the whole thing by making sure that the unlikable older sister has to date first. They literally intro the dad by having him come in to say, I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words, but the dad comes in and says, did you hit anyone today? And she's like, no, but the day's only half done, so...
And making Bianca wear a fake pregnant belly before she goes to a party for the consequences of her potential actions.
It's so funny. She thinks at first he's gonna make her wear it to the party, which says a lot about their relationship.
He's like, no, I'm perfectly reasonable. Just around the living room a couple of times.
And then we've got all of that freaking music right at the top, even.
Coming in strong.
Oh yeah, she came in hot.
Like, just like, la da 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 da, hoo-wah. That's basically what happened. That's my rendition. Because I can't remember any of the lyrics.
It was just a popular song on the radio from the late 90s playing in the convertible with the cutesy girls. And then pan over, I don't care about reputation. Boom, boom. So good.
Other examples that come to mind, after the dance with the reveal, we get like a bit of a sad montage and the music is literally saying, one day it's heaven, one day it's hell. You know, stuff like that.
So good. Speaking of the montages, my favorite montage, the sisters have an origin story of Kat's moodiness, and then they have a fight afterwards because Bianca doesn't handle it well. And then we go immediately into moody sister montage.
A mopey montage.
Bianca swinging outside, and Kat's looking at her through the window.
Tying in with the montages and the music doing the most, we get a very fun sequence where Kat and Patrick sort of connect properly for the first time, I think, when they have that date of throwing paint. That's kind of a montage.
Oh, right. That was fun.
And the music going is, I'm not the sort of person who falls in and out of love quickly. Because they had to work really hard. Because this montage is coming after she's broken Patrick out of detention and they've had a trauma bond on the little paddle boat things. And then we move into this. So, you know, they're working at it.
That was so good. And before we move on, I do want to quickly touch on the best friends.
Yes.
So I can't remember his name, but Cameron's best friend and Kat's best friend end up as nerdy dates cosplaying Shakespeare at the dance at the end. I'm obsessed with them. Oh, that's right. Her name is Mandela. I don't know why her hippie parents named her Mandela, but then I realized she has a line early that she believes she's in an intimate relationship with the bard, meaning William Shakespeare himself.
Yes.
And I wondered, is it referencing like the Mandela effect? Like she's delusional and thinks things that aren't actually true? Like we're having a group psychosis?
If I was going to give anyone credit for doing it, it would be the makers of this movie.
I'm hoping that's it. And if it's exactly right, I see you.
This movie is also a really good example of the fact that a movie doesn't have to be crammed full of all the tropes for it to be a good movie. You can do a couple of the tropes and just do it really well.
Yeah.
And it's still super satisfying.
Because a lot of these aren't necessarily tropes. They're just observations we've made over time with films. Like any of the doing the most.
They canon tropes now, Jasmine.
I know, but like teachers doing the most and music doing the most aren't necessarily what people would call tropes and devices of the genre necessarily.
No.
But if we only counted like enemies to lovers and slow burn and a grand romantic gesture, then they just did it well.
Speaking of doing things well, let's go to those shenanigans.
Shenanigans! I love it. We've already talked about so many.
I know, because they tie in so well.
They do.
One of my favorite shenanigans that I didn't really remember is the fact that there are all these crazy rumors about Patrick.
Say.
No way. Amazing.
I didn't remember it either, but the student body has made up insane stories.
Oh my goodness. It's sprinkled out through the entirety of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the characters says some rumor about Patrick.
Every time they approach Patrick or he shows up somewhere, someone has some unsolicited rumors to spill. It's just so ridiculous.
And just rumors that never make any sense. Like, in what reality? I wish I'd written some of them down.
Yeah, I realized it too late.
Same. So I was just enjoying it then.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. And then the fact that they have a little walk and talk.
Yes, that was so sweet.
To discuss the rumors and which ones are true and which are false. They're just all lies. It's like hilarious. And you can see he's like well chuffed with himself about it.
Yes. He takes it like a chump. He's very amused. That was a great surprise shenanigan.
Oh, absolutely. Early on in the film, one of my favorite things is that I realized they do a lot of excellent single shot takes in this film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think one of the really good ones is that slow-mo Bianca intro.
Mm-hmm.
They film it and slow-mo the start of it and then transition it seamlessly into regular speed.
It's really well done.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot in that scene. There's a lot of moving parts.
And a lot of intro and exposition.
Yes, because it's also introing Cameron to the student body. So,
Yep.
you know, we have that very well-worn trope of this group is the popular kids and those are the tech nerds. So we doing that sequence, but it's all in a single shot and it's just really well done.
It's incredible. And they do another one later on, I forget it, but there was a few times where I was just really impressed with the shot.
Something that I texted Jasmine was, is there something about the 90s in America where high school children were just allowed into clubs and bars? Because
Yeah.
that's where Patrick finds Kat.
I mean, there used to be a lot of places that would have underage nights or anyone above 16 was allowed to go and you would get a wristband or a stamp or something to indicate you're not allowed to drink, especially for some of these bands that do have younger fan bases.
Yeah.
I went to some weird warehouse parties as a 16-year-old.
There was nary a wristband to be seen and alcohol was free flowing.
That's why I wonder if there was something that was sort of implied because she goes to the bar and just gets water.
Yeah.
But Pat is on a first name basis with the bartender and immediately gets a scotch on the rocks. So I was like, oh no, he's done this before.
Yes, he's a regular. What is so good about this scene is how cool Pat plays it.
Yes, I love this scene so much.
Because Kat goes to the bar and then sees him there and she's like, ugh, he's following me. And he just plays it down so much and walks away from her.
He's like, excuse me, you're ruining this for me. I'm trying to listen to the band.
Yes.
Shuts her up.
And then he basically does to her, oh, you don't know them? Like the band. So it was so smooth.
Which is the most offensive thing you could tell a kid like that.
So funny.
So good. Oh, really weird shenanigan, but something that super irritated me in a funny way.
Yeah.
When Cam and his buddy decide to go talk to Patrick, this is after they've been successful once, so they're back in shop class to hit him up about how things are going. He's heating a rod against a flame. So he's got a welding torch going and he's heating a rod. And he gets the rod nice and red hot. Like, it is now ready to be bent, which would be the reason why you would heat a rod like that. And instead of bending it or using it for any purposes, he just heated the end and then dunks it in water. And I just don't know what he was making in class.
I don't think he was making anything. I think he was just making a mess.
No, it was just busy work.
Yes.
They just had choreography to make it look like he's in shop, because then he goes over, he's like, I'm gonna crank this vise. I'm gonna screw something in. And it's all just weird bullshit that ends with him with a power tool drilling through poor Cameron's French book. I'm crying.
Speaking of the little meetings that these guys have, is when Cameron and his friend meet Pat in a bar.
Oh,
Yes,
God, yeah,
in
the biker bar.
to, like, give Patrick the intel on Kat because they're struggling.
In their dress shirts.
Yes. They say to him, you know, she likes certain bands and she also likes pretty guys. And Patrick's like, oh, what?
You don't think I'm pretty?
He's like, I wasn't sure. I didn't know.
I wasn't sure, yeah, I didn't know. It's so funny.
This is so funny.
That was really good, and he plays it so stressed. It's perfect.
Yes. It's like mild bi panic.
Yeah, just, I didn't know.
Sure.
I was thinking, I don't know. So cute.
The side characters in this movie
Yes.
are so delightful. This poor group's party that they take over.
I want to do all the shenanigans of the party at this.
Okay.
We show up at the dance, and Patrick has managed to get a beloved band to be the music. Kat is beside herself. How did he manage that?
Yeah.
He leveraged another family connection. Wow, look at this guy.
Which again, he's just loaded.
Yeah.
He's going to NYU.
Thank you. And then Bianca has chosen Cameron over idiot
Joey.
God, I cannot fucking stand Joey.
Ugh,
So
this was so much fun.
Yes. You know where I'm going. So
Yes.
we're at the dance, and Bianca is dancing with Cameron. Cameron's won. Slay. Joey shows up, and first off, blows up Pat's spot in front of Kat and reveals the payments. So now Kat knows he lied to her face. And so she storms off. That then transitions very quickly into Cameron saying, hey, leave Bianca alone. She can go to the dance with me. You don't own somebody. And he really tries to handle it like a gentleman. And Joey sucker punches him because Joey's a little bitch.
Twice.
And then Bianca runs in and punches him right in the nose. And then kicks him in the family jewels. We love Bianca. Let's go. I know that she knew exactly how to break his nose because her father is so paranoid he probably had her in self-defense classes from childhood.
The other shenanigan with Joey and the whole dance thing is that off Bianca and Cameron go, and then freaking Joey just rocks up at their home full of swag and whatever and says to the dad, I'm here to pick Bianca up. And I'm like, did this idiot even ask her to the dance?
You didn't even ask.
What are you doing, my guy?
You didn't even ask her. Are you an idiot? And the answer is yes, he is an idiot, because every time he opens his mouth, it has to do with some asinine thing that gives actors a bad name. Those pictures are the same picture. Neither of them is serving anything. You're dumb.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about.
Your headshots are the same.
When she picks, I can't remember if it was the white one or the black one, because like we said, they're the same. She's like, yeah, I think that one's more pensive. And he's like, shoot, I was going for thoughtful.
I can't. That killed me.
Props to that actor, though.
I know, he slayed the acting. That was so perfect. And then when he does like the looks, and this is my look for commercial, and this is my look for that teeth thing.
Yes.
And they're all the same look. You're not acting.
What was so funny and true to character, after Bianca punches him, he is like, I have a nasal spray commercial tomorrow, you bitch.
No, he doesn't. Not with that broken nose. You're getting emergency replaced, bud.
That actor who's been pinned is getting a call.
Yeah. I love that for them. I hope your deviated septum keep you from ever doing a nasal spray commercial.
So one of the things I want to talk about is the banter between all of the characters in this movie. So I thought we could pull out.
Yeah, some of the best banter.
Yeah, one of them is when Kat's dad is freaking out about where Bianca went off to. She just went sailing with Cameron, who is such a sweetie pie.
Yeah.
And Kat just deadpans. She's meeting bikers, big ones, full of sperm.
A lot of mine have to do with the dad also. My favorite dad quote is, I only have 2 rules. Number 1, no dating till you graduate. Number 2, no dating till you graduate.
The other one was when Kat is giving Patrick a hard time, and he's like, who needs affection when I have blind hatred?
Oh, another spicy cat quote, and this one's not a funny spicy cat quote, but it was good, was she real talk hits her dad with, you can't control your own life because mom left, so you feel like you have to control mine. Oh. Girl, you're not wrong, but damn. Teenagers know how to hit you where it hurts.
Ouch. And then we have Bianca and Cameron sort of scouring Kat's room to find intel on her.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, God, I love this.
Bianca saying, you can tell a lot about a girl from their room. And Cameron's like, can I see your room? And Bianca deadpan is just like, no, a girl's room is very personal. Like, girl.
And then they pull the shot far so we can see her in her sister's room. And they just have them kind of stand awkwardly for a beat. And I was like, excellent directing. Beautiful shot work, guys.
Fantastic.
The only other quote that I have is a classic that we couldn't fit into the intro or outro, but everyone loves so much, which is, I want you, I need you, oh baby, oh baby. Which was warranted because Pat has never spoken to you before. Why the hell is he approaching you on the soccer field?
And he's coming in so hot.
I would also be skeptical.
And coming in so confidently and strong.
Yeah, like they have some sort of rapport.
Yeah.
And then finally, I want to hit all of the party shenanigans before we move on.
My goodness. Just the setup of how this casual little sophisticated small group get-together is taken over by redesigning the pamphlet.
The redesign is so dumb.
Free beer, which they just drop a stack of pamphlets down the stairwell.
I love that. That's such an iconic shot with everyone reaching out to grab one of the flyers.
So good.
When I tell you that the most fucking ridiculous thing about this to me is how they manage to get every teen to show up at the same exact time. They're walking down the hill
hauling kegs
as a swarm. It looks like zombies have descended upon the city of Seattle.
Yeah.
They're just swarming down the hill to this poor guy's house, and they're just waiting for Nigel to show up with the brie.
Yes, that was so funny because it's this chaos descending down the hill. Cut to these 4 or 5 boys. You can almost hear the classical music playing. And he's like, no, use the coaster. And ding dong. Oh, that must be Nigel with the brie.
Perfect.
And this character, who has such a small role, is so hilarious.
So funny.
Because, of course, it's a high school party in a movie, so there has to be a fight.
I wrote this one down too.
He's just like, oh, I'm so sorry, gents. Could you please take it outside? Crash through the glass. Thank you. That was so funny.
Even at the party, they had all these weird little references. There was 2 guys in fedoras and sunglasses doing the Night at the Roxbury head bob, and I was like, what year is this? Oh yeah, it's 1999. That's right. Uh-huh.
And we see some of these cliques that were established at the beginning of the movie also paying off at this party. We have like the cowboys passing around a spittoon.
Oh my god, I forgot the cowboys.
Which was just a vase that they took over.
It's so ridiculous.
Then we have Pat following Kat up the staircase.
Yeah.
And this girl launches herself at Patrick. Kiss me. And he's like, kiss him. And And the guy is just like, thank you, dude. And then later we see him again. They're still making out, this couple. And he's like, seriously, dude, thank you. Thank you.
And then on the flip side of that poor drunk girl that needed some friend to help her out, we have Patrick following Kat around, trying to slow her down because she's drinking too fast. When she got on that table, the only thing I could think is, thank God camera phones don't exist yet.
Yeah, that would not have been good.
This is mortifying.
She got enough grief the day after, like, being teased in school. Can you imagine this getting on the internet?
I mean, like, I can't even imagine. I barely had picture phones by the time a lot of this stuff was going, and any camera phone, it was so grainy.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really make out anything. Plus, those phones didn't transfer data, so that all got lost to obsolescence. So I can't imagine having these kinds of videos like kids have now.
Yeah. The stress.
Nope. Nope. He does everything he can. God, seriously though, Pat is party MVP because he tries to slow her down. When she falls off the table, he is concerned about her having a concussion, so he keeps her awake.
Yeah.
And then not only all of that, in the midst of trying to take care of her, he takes a moment to give Cameron a well-needed pep talk about how no one can tell him he can't have something, go after the thing you want. Like, seriously, he does it all.
He was doing the most for someone whose reputation is being extremely antisocial. He's caring for a lot of people in this party.
Yeah. The best thing about their dynamic is that I think Kat and Patrick kind of teach each other the difference between actually not caring about what other people think of you and what it looks like to pretend you don't care about what other people think of you. And they both kind of needed to learn that lesson.
They soften each other's edges a little bit, like without trying to fundamentally change each other.
Aww.
It's really nice to see.
I love that for them.
I love them. They're so cute.
I guess that brings us to Fun Fab Fail.
Yeah. Fun Fab Fail. Obviously.
It's a fab.
What a delightful movie.
How could it be anything else?
It had been a hot minute since I've seen it, so about 10 to 15 years, but I've seen it several times, and it holds up. It's so clever. The dialogue is doing so much.
It really does.
But so are all the other departments. Like, they're really using cinema photography to tell jokes too.
So many good jokes.
Which you don't always get.
Yeah, like the joke about being in her sister's room doesn't hit without the smash cut to wide shot.
Exactly.
And like, Julia Stiles does not get enough credit for her absolute control of sexual chemistry. Because, and this might be by design, Heath Ledger's character, Patrick, he's got sexual chemistry the whole way through. And I think that that's appropriate.
Yeah, intentional.
But the fact that Julia holds hers.
Because she's guarded.
Yeah, that's work.
It's hard.
That's artistic work that was done.
And then to watch her walls come down and that to just break open, and not consistently, because we see moments of it coming to the front.
That she pulls it back again?
Yeah. Up go the walls again. And that scene in the classroom where she's reading the sonnet and how she looks so vulnerable and so fragile and raw.
Truly.
It's so beautiful.
Gorgeous work.
Stunning acting.
And such an excellent example of an actor using such well-honed craft.
Yeah.
Because that's before filming work. Like, she did so much to make sure she was prepared for each of those scenes. I just don't know how somebody just so easily turns it on and off. She makes it look effortless.
It was amazing. And then just the chemistry between Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles as well. It's so nuanced.
Oh, absolutely.
The looks that they give each other are so intense and intentional. And again, shows the importance of good chemistry.
Yeah.
For a rom-com especially. It's really, really, really beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing.
The tension, you feel the tension in their looks.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's palpable.
Juicy.
Mm-hmm.
So good to watch. So entertaining.
Yeah.
And then, all of that aside, our two leads aside, Bianca and Cameron's characters are also excellent,
so
and their story arc is
sweet.
beautiful.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about the two of them much and their relationship, but you could have a whole movie with
Of
their
just them.
relationship. Yeah.
Because it is well thought out.
They're not just there to move the plot forward.
They're fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
Even Cameron's is a little bit more two-dimensional because he has a singular goal the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
But it's played so lovely. It feels genuine. I
Yeah.
never felt like this actor was pigeonholed into a situation and had to like make it work. It just felt like a teen who was a little fixated but had good intentions.
Yeah. And Cameron is so sincere and like a
Yeah.
little bit bumbling, but so committed. It's really endearing.
And just like watching Bianca's journey of understanding throughout it was really nice as well.
Yeah, because that character very easily could have just been played one-dimensional, and then it's not so satisfying if it was to be a sudden like growth.
Yeah.
You see it slowly happening.
Slow burns all around. Love that for these sisters.
What a wonderful movie.
Yeah. I knew I was going to like this. I knew it was going to age well. I'd watched it maybe 5 years ago instead of quite so long as you had, but it really does hold up.
Yeah.
I am very impressed.
I was expecting to like this movie as well. I was expecting at least a fun, but it surprised me. I was like, whoa, wait, no, this is going to be a fab.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Full transparency. I was hoping y'all wouldn't pick this movie for this listener's choice. Only because I was so excited to watch it. I wanted to save it for some season premiere or season finale, but I'm really happy we got to watch it anyway because it's so freaking good. So happy. Just fuzzy and fun.
Well, that leads us to our favorite segment.
Give me the cheese, please. I'm so excited.
We did it.
We're here. We made it. Cheese.
I'm so excited.
Okay, I feel pretty good about this one.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Cheese
Cotija.
risotto.
Ooh. I love that. Okay, amazing.
Okay.
I think I went first.
Yes, I think you did.
Okay, great.
So, cheese risotto. Everyone is really familiar with a risotto. Like this movie. This movie is a classic. Even if you haven't necessarily seen it or it's been a while since you've seen it, like we know this movie.
Yeah.
Risotto is also something that is deceptively complicated.
Ugh,
It
yeah.
looks so simple and basic.
So hard to make.
It's so hard to make, and it requires so much attention, and it's so easy to mess it up.
Mhm.
So in this movie, it's really doing a very fine balancing act. It's already working with source material that, even though it's a bard, not the greatest of his players, kind of problematic. And this movie navigates it so well. Everything is so intentional. You can see how much work was put into this, from the filming, from the directing, from the acting, from the music, from everything. Everything is doing everything.
Yeah.
Like a risotto, you need to have your hand on it. I cannot stress enough how easy it is to fuck a risotto up.
You have to stir it for as long as it takes. It just, ugh.
Yes. And then not overstir it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a whole thing. But when you plate it, it doesn't look like much. But when you eat it, the complexity of flavor is astonishing.
Ugh.
It's so satisfying.
So good.
And comforting. And like, that's what this movie is.
100%.
It is a work of art. That's why this movie is a risotto. So good.
Love that. Okay. Ugh, yummy. It's making me hungry. I want pasta now.
I know, me too. I need to have supper.
I've got myself a lovely cotija. If you're not familiar, you've probably had it without realizing it, because it is the classic Mexican crumbling white cheese that you've probably seen on a taco. Now, I picked cotija because it is a classic. It is a staple for Mexican food, and I do feel like I needed something that felt like a staple, even if it's a culture you may not have cheese from as often. So this is a staple for sure. It's also a crumbly grating cheese. That's why it's used often in a taco. It won't melt. So this is a firmer cheese. And for me, this movie's not the gooeyest. Cat is a little too rough around the edges for this to be an ooey gooey film.
Yeah, definitely not ooey gooey.
Thank you. So it's not ooey gooey. And the grating thing is kind of her attitude at the beginning. It grates me a little bit. But despite all of that, you've got a flavorful cheese. It's zesty. It's a little salty. And it's also an aged cheese. And boy, did this age well. So for all of those reasons, this is a good old aged cotija.
Love it. Still my favorite segment, always.
I know. Like this movie, it always hits. Well, there you have it. That was our discussion of 10 things I hate about you.
Let us know your thoughts on the movie, any shenanigans we may have missed, or what cheese you think it is.
You can follow us on Instagram at shenanigansensuepod, or you can email us at shenanigansensuepod@gmail.com.
We hope you'll join us next time, and until then... I don't hate you. Not even close.
Not even a little bit. Not even at all. Bye.
Bye.
Aww. That moment was so heartbreaking.
Oh.
The slow falling apart of her emotional state while she looks at him in class.
As the camera gets closer and closer in on her face.
I know.
It's so beautiful.
Beautiful work.
Yeah.
So realistic.
Oh.
His face too.
Yes.
Oh.
Love her. Love them. Love this movie. Love you.